Today in Taking Over Tottenham, it's our last episode of Season 1 and it is the Conference League final as we take on Jose Mourinho's Roma. Let's see if we can make it a double for the season. Hello everyone and welcome back to episode number 12 of Taking Over Tottenham here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and if you're looking forward to this last episode of Season 1, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and do enjoy the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But today, as I said, wrapping up Season 1, and it is in a European final, albeit lower tier European final, as we take on Roma in the Conference League, a tasty matchup against former Tottenham manager Jose Mourinho and his new team. But we have wrapped up the Premier League season since the end of yesterday's episode, which if you missed, I'll leave a link to above my head in the top right corner. So we'll quickly run you guys through the highlights and how the Premier League table did finish. First up, it was an away trip to the King Power Stadium to take on Leicester. This was a game that we did have to put out a pretty heavily rotated team, and just because of the amount of players who couldn't quite back up from the second leg of that Conference League semi-final against Feyenoord. But luckily for us, we did kick into gear fairly late in this game with 20 minutes to go. A throw and Skip gets that to Dele Alli. Nice ball here, and Jack Clark, the young right winger, gets his first goal in senior football for the club. So it's a cool moment for the youngster to put us 1-0 up with 20 minutes to go. And then in injury time, nice ball there for Sessegnon, and he puts that away. Another Dele Alli assist, and we beat Leicester away from home, as I said, with a pretty heavily rotated team, 2-0 to grab another 3 points in the Premier League. And off the back of that, we did put the first team back out for their final hit out before this Conference League final. It was a big game trying to beat Liverpool at home. We absolutely dominated the first half but had no reward for it, but we really kicked into gear in the second half and made them pay. Liverpool barely firing a shot in this game. Luckily, at the 53-minute mark, we finally got a goal on the board. Lottie seeing up Son there for a good header to put us 1-0 up, and then only 10 minutes later, Son with an assist. Joe Rodon with a little bit of help there from the post makes it 2-0, and then with only a few minutes to go, very similar case with Christian Romero, and we absolutely thump Liverpool 3-0, a result that pretty much put an end to their title hopes, as they were still in the mix at that stage. We put an end to their chances. You can see it was a very dominant performance from us against a very good Liverpool team, albeit I think they were resting some of their better players with games like the FA Cup final and Champions League final coming up. So not too sure if it was Liverpool's best 11, but we still put out a very good performance against them there. And we finished the Premier League season with a North London derby. Unfortunately, we did put out a full rotation for this game, as this Conference League final today did fall only 2 days after this last Premier League game of the season. So that definitely gave Arsenal an advantage going into this game, and they well and truly took it. The first goal coming after only a minute. Maitland-Niles ball over the top, and Aubameyang slots that away in the left-hand side of goal to put them up 1-0 early, and he got on the score sheet again at the 33-minute mark. This time De Paula with a ball over the top. Pretty sure that was Davinson Sanchez there with missed header, and it was 2-0 Arsenal before half-time, and that's how it finished. No one really performing that well for us there, and we didn't play that well in that game, so got beaten by Arsenal on the last day of the season. But as I said, we definitely had this Conference League final in mind with that team that we did put out in that game. So what that meant for the Premier League is we did end up finishing fourth, could not quite go above Liverpool. If we won that last game of the season against Arsenal, we might have had a chance to sneak above them, but with this Conference League final coming up, as I said, didn't feel like it was worth the risk. And in the end, it was Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer who win the Premier League. Very unrealistic, absolute joke, but Manchester United not only winning the Premier League, but doing so with a 4-3 win at Liverpool at Anfield on the final day. Just seriously need to sort this out, Football Manager, because Manchester United are so overpowered in this game, and it was Cristiano Ronaldo with a 94th minute goal to secure the title over Manchester City as well. So they only got the job done late at Anfield. pretty unrealistic, let's be frank, but in the end, Manchester United do win the title by a single point over Manchester City, a gap of 6 points back to Liverpool, and we were a further 3 points back, but a lot closer to the top of the table than we were to Arsenal, down in 5th, 17 points the gap. So a good launching pad to go into season 2 of this Taking Over Tottenham save in the Premier League anyway, albeit it is going to be tougher for us next season with Champions League football to focus on as well compared to the Conference League, which we've had this season, which, to be fair, was a bit of a breeze for us, especially during the group stage. But today we are taking on Roma, Jose Mourinho's side, who do find themselves in 7th in Serie A at the end of their season. So next season they will again be in the Conference League. Couldn't quite overcome those top 6 teams in Italy to sneak their way into the Europa League, of course, unless they do win this competition and this final against us today. But based on where they finished in the Serie A, this is a game I am expecting to win, albeit going to be interesting against the Jose Mourinho team and probably one of the strongest teams we have played so far in this Conference League. But before we get into the game, unfortunately, we are back in the medical centre, and that is because we do have a few injuries. Jesus Corona very close to recovering from his hip injury, but not quite. That means Steven Bergwijn, who has just recovered from his fractured wrist, he is at peak fitness. He's going to start for us out on the right wing, but Jesus Corona still not in the mix. That means that Jack Clark is going to be used as our backup right winger for this final. But unfortunately, Caligari has done a lower back stress fracture in training. So that was a real gutting one leading into this final. He is going to be missing for 3 to 4 weeks. So that means that we have had to call in a young right back from the under-23s to fill the backup spot, as he is able to play in this competition. And Matt Doherty, who would usually be our backup right back in this situation, is not registered. But Emerson Royale can start, but we probably won't be taking him off unless we absolutely have to, as our right back depth going into this game is not that great. But hopefully we can get the job done in this upcoming game, finish the season on a high and pick up a double for the season to go along with our Carabao Cup win we got back in February, and we'll come back shortly from the Air Albania Stadium for this Conference League final. And we have TV coverage for this final. As you would expect, there is our starting 11. As I said, Bergwijn out on the right. That's really the only change that we've been forced into with the starting 11, but otherwise, pretty good squad. Looking at Roma, they've got some familiar names there, likes of Pellegrini, Veretout, but it's still a team I think that we have the quality over, and hopefully we can show it and pick up a double for the season. 8 minutes gone, and the first highlight is in our favour with a throw-in right on the halfway line. Lo Celso to Højbjerg, and hopefully we can get off to a nice strong start here. Bergwijn down the right, just inside the box, puts the ball in for Heung-min Son. Gets his head on the end of that, and the South Korean picks up yet another goal. And after 8 minutes in the Conference League final here in Albania, it is 1-0 Tottenham over Roma. Højbjerg with a nice ball there to pick out Bergwijn, who's already picked up a yellow card. Good ball this to get around the defender, Spinazzola, and Son with a good header into the left corner. And we go 1-0 up nice and early. 14 minutes gone, and another highlight in our favour here. A corner, Son puts us in. Ramiro has a shot, and it comes off the post. Another good chance, but still 1-0. 26 minutes gone here, and it is still all Tottenham, 1-0 up. And we have another highlight here. Kane with the header this time. Just wide. We are absolutely doing them aerially, but nothing more yet. Still 1-0 at the half-hour mark, although here is a highlight to Roma as they look to work their way back into this game. Ball in here for Perez. Also gets his head to that just over the bar, and still 1-0. And now we have yet another highlight here from a throw-in, and again for Roma as they do look to work their way back into this game. But we did start things off very well in that first half hour. Potentially could have been 2-0 up. Ramiro hitting the post with a header from a corner, but Roma certainly now looking like they've got their act into gear. Nice ball there for Henrik Mkhitaryan down the left-hand side, just outside the box. Ball back for Veretout. His shot blocked. Spinazzola now out to Carr's block, and we look to hold them out here as this highlight does continue. Ball in here for Cristiane, but just over the bar. Another header, but still 1-0 Tottenham. 34 minutes gone here. It's another highlight for Roma. Veretout with a free kick off the post, and luckily for us, I think it was Ramiro who clears that away. Still 1-0 to Tottenham, but Roma certainly kicking into gear. And that is halftime in this Conference League final. We take a 1-0 lead into the shed. Stats-wise, I think we deserve it, but Roma certainly got their act into gear in the second part of that first half. Pretty happy with how things are going at the moment, though. If we can start things off like we did the first half in the second half, hopefully we can pick up another goal and give ourselves a little bit of a cushion in this game. But we'll leave the team exactly how it was to kick off the second half. 48 minutes gone, first highlight of the second half, and Roma look to continue their momentum, although Renan Lodi intercepts that, tries to go on his own, has a shot over the bar, and it will still be 1-0. 52 minutes gone, and it is another Roma throw, and this time they do keep the ball. Henrik Mkhitaryan puts the ball over for Lorenzo Pellegrini, and Roma have equalised. To be fair, it felt like they might do that just shy of half-time in their first highlight here of the second half, and they do make it 1-1. So Jose Mourinho's men do strike back. Pellegrini, nice touch there, and he is left far too open. Here's a header there, pretty much from the penalty spot. Good finish into the top right corner, and it is 1-1. And we are going to make a change off the back of that. Christian Romero on a yellow card and struggling at the back, so Davinson Sanchez can come on for him and not ease off tackles that might have hurt us there potentially. But 1-1 at the 55-minute mark. 68 minutes gone. It is a corner to Tottenham. Son puts us in. Joe Rodon just over the bar, and it will still be 1-1 with 20 to go. 83 minutes gone here, and we do have another corner. Might have to make some substitutions off the back of that. Rodon again puts it high, starting to get some tired players out there with only 5 minutes to go and less. And I think it's time for us to make a few substitutions. Unfortunately, Harry Kane not performing for us today, so we will try Andrea Bellotti up front, just looking at some of the other players who are struggling out there at the moment and their ratings. And I think we'll also bring Oliver Skip on for Tanguy and Dom Bally as well. So that's 3 of our 5 substitutions used. Still 1-1 with only a few minutes left of regular time. And right before the end of regular time, I think we're going to make our last few substitutions. We'll switch out the midfielders, as I don't feel like the quality dropped off as much there as it does in the other areas of the squad where we've got these players on red hearts. So both Ali and Winks can come on for Højbjerg and Lo Celso respectively. So those will be all of our subs used. Hopefully that can give us a leg up in extra time should we get to it. It looks like that's going to be the case, as we've only got 40 seconds left of regulation time in this game, and there has been nothing happen since that late chance for us around about the 83-minute mark, I think it was. But now it's Roma in possession, and Zaniolo is offside there, so we're going to wait for the full-time whistle to blow as we now have a free kick. They skip over that, and we will be heading to extra time, a game that we probably should be winning. We've certainly created enough chances to be winning this game, but unfortunately, we're going to have to keep on going as it remains 1-1. First highlight of extra time, and it is a corner to Tottenham. Heung-min Son, who is very tired, puts it in. Davinson Sanchez gets that through the hand of Rui Patricio, and we finally break through Roma for the second time in this game, and we go 2-1 up thanks to the bench impact of Davinson Sanchez, a player who aerially isn't the best of our centre-backs, probably the poorest, but his form in general hasn't been too bad this season. That is a massive goal for us back in front in the Conference League final, 6 minutes into extra time. And we are now into the second half of extra time, still 2-1. The only highlight so far, that goal from the corner to Davinson Sanchez, and we look to play out from the back here from a goal kick, I believe it was, and Skip just holding the ball out here. We are on time wasting sometimes, not frequently with that lead, but we do have some fresh legs on here as a ball played over from Winks there. That's a really average clearance though from Rui Patricio. Maybe we should have tried to get the shot off there while he was getting back in between the sticks, but Bergwijn back for Dele Alli with the shot. Comes off the post, good chance, but still 2-1. Only 10 minutes left though. And now at the 113-minute mark, and there's a highlight here. Roma were on the attack, but we do deal with it. And Hugo Lloris to get things going as we look to hold on to this 1-goal lead and make sure we don't go to penalties and we can secure the Conference League title in added time. And we start to go forward here for Andrea Bellotti. Back to Renan Lodi, who is tired, but we are now at our substitutions. Cheeky pass there from Oliver Skip, but we do keep possession and now look to drive forward here. Heung-min Son having an absolute blinder out on the left wing. Very tired, but gets that back in for Lodi. Back out to Son. Harry Winks over for Dele Alli. We'll put that in the bottom left corner, and with only 6 minutes to go, surely that's the goal that's going to seal us a double here at Tottenham in Season 1, and it is Dele Alli off the bench, who has been very solid for us this season as a backup box-to-box midfielder. Heung-min Son, some good work on the left. Harry Winks picks out Ali. Those two have been very good bench impact midfielders for us this season. And with only 5 minutes to go, it is 3-1, and it looks like we will be lifting the Conference League to go alongside our Carabao Cup. And we are now on the attack yet again with less than 1 minute to go. This might be just a highlight to get to the trophy lift, but Harry Winks with a shot blocked. Bergwijn will put that in the back of the net, and we are going to win the Conference League with less than a minute to go. Steven Bergwijn with yet another goal in this competition. He got 2 yesterday across both legs against Feyenoord. This one had a lot of fortune. He tried to set up Harry Winks with the pass. Rui Patricio committed to the save, and it fell to Bergwijn. Just sneaks that inside the left-hand upright, and we go 4-1 up late, and we have run Roma ragged in extra time, and we end up winning the Conference League to go with our Carabao Cup 4-1, and it will be Harry Kane lifting his second trophy of the season here and taking over Tottenham, in a good way to finish this first season as we look to win a trophy with a bit more meaning and a bit more significance in season 2. But we will take the win in the first Europa Conference League. Tottenham Hotspur, in this save universe anyway, the first winners of the Conference League, and the boys looking very happy with that. We probably should have wrapped that game up during regular time, but in the end, our bench impact certainly helped in that last 30 minutes, getting 3 goals, and we win the trophy 4-1 over Roma, and we can finish the season on a nice high. Turns out that loss in that last London derby was somewhat justified now, as our first 11 were fresh in for this game and get the job done, and we'll come back shortly with the end of season review. And only a few days after that Conference League, when we do have our end of season review, there you can see the Conference League and the Carabao Cup, the competitions that we have won here at Tottenham this season. So going through our signings first off, the signing of the season, extremely unsurprisingly, Andrea Bellotti as the backup striker. 27 appearances, 27 goals, 6 assists, had an absolute blinder of a season. Came here, I think it was a 14 million up front, 17 million with a few add-ons, but he had a very good season. The other players that we bought in here were Renan Lodi and Benkovic, and they also performed well, albeit Benkovic didn't get too much game time, but is certainly a decent aerial threat and was worth adding to the squad for only 1.9 million from Leicester. And the other signing that we did make was, of course, midway through the season, we bought in Caligari as a backup right back. Decent start to his time here at Tottenham. Hopefully he can improve a bit more come next season. Also, of course, Jesus Colonna, who came in after we sold Lucas Moura to Newcastle for only 8.75 million. Unfortunately, both of those players did get injured late on, but should be players who do improve that right side for us next season. Looking at the transfers out, obviously we did sell some players for pretty high fees. And amongst these, the ones that we sold, of course, Lucas Moura, pretty good during the first part of the season, but I think we did get an upgrade in Jesus Corona once he does click into full fitness. I thought 63 million for him was a very good deal. Another player who we sold, of course, was Jafat Tanganga to Newcastle. Newcastle pinching quite a few players with us with all that money that they have got. Tanganga going there for just shy of 20 million pounds. And the other notable sale that we did make was on deadline day right at the start of the season, and that was Sergio Reguilon. That's why Renan Lodi did come here. He went to Newcastle as well for 36 million pounds. Had a decent season there, but on the whole, with the money that we got in for those guys, I think we're set up quite nicely for next season here at Tottenham, and it certainly helped us, I think, a little bit to help get that double here this season. We also loaned out a few players. Most of these were already saw the likes of Troy Parrott. We'll see what he comes back like, but I do think that Dane Scarlett might be a better option than him as a third choice emergency striker anyway, unless we do have a little bit of spare money, then we could bring in a third choice striker should we be able to. But on the whole, I think our transfers this season, pretty good, making the most of that money that Newcastle did offer us for those players that they took off our hands. Looking at this season's results, obviously we start with the Conference League, apparently a competition which we were unbeaten in, so that was very nice. We looked pretty comfortable throughout it after we got a little bit of a scare in the qualifying first league against Mulder. From there, we really kicked into gear and got the job done eventually after extra time in the final against Jose Mourinho's Roma. So about what you'd expect from us there. It was a competition we should have been having a good run in, and we did pick up the trophy in the first season of that competition. Over to the Premier League, the board are pretty happy with our fourth placing. They did want us to get Champions League football, and we did deliver in the end, doing it quite comfortably as we went over before. Big gap back to Arsenal in fifth. We were a little bit rocky at the start of the season, a little bit up and down, while still trying to find the right tactic. But after we got it right around about when that Liverpool game took place, I know that we lost that first game of the season against Liverpool, but we looked a bit better than we did in the prior games. And after that, we got into a really nice run of form, dropping points only occasionally, a couple of losses late, which didn't help, maybe could have pushed us up the table a little bit more, but on the whole, that's a pretty good season. And now we've got our tactics sorted for a full season next season, and hopefully with a few improvements transfer-wise, we can shoot up the table a little bit more and potentially challenge for the Premier League. The FA Cup was really our only disappointment at Tottenham this year. We were expected to reach the quarter-final, went out one round shy of that thanks to Manchester United. So that was a little bit of a disappointment, albeit tough opposition in that round of the competition. And of course, the Carabao Cup, we ended up winning after a couple of scratchy wins to start things off, but then we played Manchester City in the quarterfinals and did a real number on them with our reserve team. And then again in the first leg of the semi-final against West Ham, and from there felt pretty comfortable even in the final when we took it out 3-0 over Arsenal. So on the whole, did a very good job in 3 of the 4 competitions we were in. A little bit disappointing in the FA Cup, but I think the Carabao Cup and the Conference League trophies will make up for that somewhat. Moments to remember, our biggest win was that 7-1 First League Carabao Cup semi-final win over West Ham. No doubt that was helped by Declan Rice being sent off early. The match to remember, the 4-0 win in the Premier League in early January, just before that Carabao Cup semi-final win over Manchester City. And the goal of the season was in early December against Brentford from Giovanni Lo Celso. And here it is. Here we hit a throw-in just after half-time. I think I remember this one. Ndombele plays this back to Lo Celso and curves this into the top left corner. Really nice strike. We scored a few good goals this season, but I think that's a fair enough goal of the season in the end, coming from that 2-1 win over Brentford. We'll skip over the finances because it's not too important in the savers. We're not looking at things too long term here. In terms of how we lined up, a few interesting selections here. Our back 5 looks pretty solid. They've opted for Skip alongside Lo Celso and Højbjerg in the midfield, which is interesting because I thought Ndombele did a decent job there. And they've also gone for Belotti up top over Harry Kane. So that is a very interesting choice. Shows that we've got 2 good strikers here now at Tottenham. And looking at the accolades for the season, unfortunately, in terms of us, we didn't win any awards. We were very close to getting Manager of the Month a number of times, but just couldn't quite pull off a month in which we won all our games, and that seemed to hurt us quite a bit. But in terms of the club awards, Heung-min Son, Player of the Season, Young Player of the Season, Joe Rodon had a very good season at centre-back for us. Top goal scorer was Belotti with 27, most assists Son with 14. Most Player of the Matches also went to Belotti with 11, so a very good first season from the Italian. Highest average rating Son, and most passes per 90 was actually Davinson Sanchez from centre-back. The competition awards, Golden Glove for the Premier League did go to Hugo Lloris. It's probably going to be his last one as we're looking to improve in goal for Season 2 here at Tottenham. And the Conference League Player of the Season went to Heung-min Son as well. And you see there on the right-hand side to a few club records there in terms of most assists, most clean sheets, and most Player of the Match awards won, as well as Tanguy Ndombele picking up the most yellow cards. As you'd expect from a defensive midfielder, they do seem to pick up a lot of yellow cards no matter what role you use in that role. And also the youngest player in the club's history, Alfie Dorrington, was able to sneak in a Conference League game fairly early on. I think it might have been that very first one against Mulder at 16 years old and 121 days. We'll see if he progresses going into next season, and if we do look to use him again. And everyone pretty happy with what we did this season, picking up the 2 trophies in Season 1 of Taking Over Tottenham. But that will do it for the first season of this beta save. I've got about just under a week left of this beta. I'm going to really try and rush through Season 2. Once we do get into it, we might cut out showing you guys the highlights at the start of each episode, just to run through of our results if things don't take quite as long, especially when the full game does come out and we look to get our Builder Nation going as well. But we will get a second season of this save done for you guys, so don't worry about that. And hopefully we can challenge for the Premier League and have a good run in the Champions League, as well as those domestic cup competitions as well. And we will look to do some business with the 58 million that we do have the priority to get a first choice goalkeeper in who's a little bit better than Hugo Lloris. Probably going to be Andre Onana, but we'll see if anyone else comes up in between now and the start of the transfer window. But if you did enjoy this first season of Taking Over Tottenham, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video. And if you haven't done so already and have enjoyed this first season, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. In terms of when we will be back, I'm not entirely sure. It will probably be for the start of the Premier League season in 2022-23. So we'll get through the transfer window before then. It does mean there might be less videos over the weekend than there usually are. Might not be able to get one out on Sunday morning New Zealand, Saturday night UK like I usually do, but I'll try my best. We'll see what happens, and I'll let you guys know down below if there is a little bit of a change or delay as to when the next video will come out. So keep an eye down below in the comments or on social media, and I will let you guys know when the next episode of this series will drop. Until I see you for the start of Season 2 here of Taking Over Tottenham, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.